Barehanded save rank in terms of unhinged goalie things you've ever seen in Scotiabank Arena?
Oh, that's easy. David
In a Leafs uniform.
All right, well, that makes it harder.
Let's go!
Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do.
I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up.
This team is ruining my life.
I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory puppies, eat up, buddy. Eat up. That's for you. That's for you. Get in there. Come on. It's not gonna. Here. That didn't go how I thought it would at all. I thought he was gonna eat out of the cup. It was gonna. Oh, right. The Leafs. They won though. They're still great without Matthews. The power play's still great without Matthews. Nothing makes sense. We cheer for the dumbest team in the dumbest sport. Leafs win 3-1 over the Detroit Red Wings on Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, in a weekend where Pavel Datsyuk is being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, a player who I remember playing in a rookie game at the All-Star game back when they used to do that. God, I'm so old. It's true, they used to do that. All the league's young guns would play against each other, and I remember the coming attraction that year was Ilya Kovalchuk. Wait till you see this kid. But there was this one weird dangly kid in a Red Wings uniform named Pavel Datsyuk. I'm like, who is this? He looks pretty good. Hockey Hall of Fame. But enough about the Red Wings. They lost! First thing I want to do before I get into the game, because I think this was actually a very simple game with a couple unhinged moments, I need to say thank you. I've been bugging you about it for weeks and weeks and a couple months. I'm not going to bug you about it anymore because it has come and gone. The Eric Lindros Celebrity Hockey Classic in support of Easter Seals Ontario, a charity that helps out kids with physical disabilities. My team, Rachel's Raiders, you guys helped raise $52,000 just for our team. The event as a total raised more than $750,000. My family's an Easter Seals family. We went to Easter Seals camps growing up. Those are camps where they have accessible environments. I've told the story before. I hate the beach because it's impossible to bring a wheelchair onto the beach. Easter Seals camps make that possible. They make it possible to have fun as a family in an accessible environment. Easter Seals also helps you get access to customized equipment, which is enormously expensive, and all kinds of other extremely valuable things. I know there were a lot of times my parents were on the phone trying to get funding for different things growing up, and let me just say to anyone who helped or has helped in previous years in any way, we used to pray for people like you to show up, and you did, and you have over and over and over again. Rachel's Raiders has raised over $500,000 just on our own since we started the team in 2018, and the Lindros tournament has now raised millions. So thank you. We were the top fundraising team again, and that means we get to keep this cup in the room. This is the cup that's always in the background. It's not a Stanley Cup replica. It's the Jerry Coughlin Cup for the top fundraiser. Top fundraising team, top individual, neither of which would be able to happen without you. It's not just fundraising though, it's also playing in hockey games, which I did, and you might know this about me, I'm not very good at hockey. But you know who is pretty good at hockey? Noted Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings alumni, Chris Chelios. He was a celebrity alumni who played with us, and he did this. I'll commentate over the play because it's blurry, it's not the greatest shot of it, but Chris Chelios joins the play. What's he gonna do? He's gonna put it on because I went to the net! And he puts one off of my foot and in. My team didn't realize it was my goal at first. Listen to the tumult on the bench. Yeah! Okay, now delete the footage. I'm gonna tell my son that I tipped it bar down and it was just perfect. Chelly was great. Great stories. Hey, did you know he didn't like Mike Babcock? He also doesn't like Gary Bettman. I think it's why we get along. Last thing I'll say from the tournament, after the games were done, Eric Lindros did an interview on stage with Ron MacLean where Eric Lindros did the interview, like he was interviewing Ron MacLean. And he goes, so Ron, I want to ask you about Gary Bettman. And the whole crowd is silent and listening, except for one voice at our table who just went, boo! It was Chelios. He rules a lot, and I laughed. Anyway, this game. Leaf fans don't really know how to feel about this team right now. We're a little confused because it's still early November. We're less than 20 games into the season, and they've looked really good and kind of bad. The good is starting to outweigh the bad, but also Austin Matthews isn't there. And he's not going to be there tomorrow either because he's on IR. He could be back as soon as Tuesday, but we're still like, oh no. And it appears the power play that we were really worried about is fixed, but also the Leafs haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal in 3 games. There's already been a trade this season. It sounds like there might be another one just to make all the guys coming back from injury fit. But even though this game didn't feature Austin Matthews, I think this kind of game, what we saw tonight, is gonna be the temperature, the flavor of game that we're going to see out of these Leafs for most of the season. We've talked about this on the podcast a lot and in these videos. The goaltending this year, better. Anthony Stolarz was unreal in this game. He's been unreal in basically every game he's played in a Leaf uniform. And the backup behind him is Joseph Woll, who's coming off an injury and probably going to get better. Good position. The defense, Tanev, we like him? Yeah. OEL, we like him? Yeah. Timmins, shockingly? I think you didn't know he was this good. You stop. No, you didn't. Leafs goalies are better than they were at this time last year. The Leafs defense is better than they were at this time last year. The Leafs, the way things are going to allow fewer goals than they did last season. The Leafs offense, I have no idea how they're going to score more goals than they did last season. How could they possibly expect it? Matthews had 69 goals. If Matthews scores 50, and Nylander scores 50, that's still -9 goals between them. And you lose over 20 goals from Tyler Bertuzzi, and Nick Robertson's not scoring at the click that he was, and there's no guarantee that Bobby McMann will. Even if Nyes is scoring at a way better clip, I think max, not Domi, max, this team scores as many goals as they did last year. They're not going to score more, but they don't have to score more. They just have to outscore their opponent, and that's where the saves and stops on defense come in. I don't think this is the run and gun team that tries to outscore their problems anymore. I think it's this grind out tight games. I mentioned Nick Robertson, Bobby McMann crashing the net. He gets a little piece of Cam Talbot. Robertson taps it in, but it's no goal on goalie interference. I hated this. I think some Winnipeg Jets fans watching this might have hated it too. I don't know if you saw the no goaltender interference call in a Jets game recently. What? Chris Johnston talking on the CJ show was like, I think they might have just got it wrong. They did, by the way. So if that was no goaltender interference, I'm looking at this dainty touch of Cam Talbot and going, I think this goal should count. And it's Robertson who, obviously that goal was oxygen to him. You saw it in his face. He's dying for one, and he's been playing well. He deserves one. And they take it away. It's garbage. But even though the goal was taken away, he continued to play good and great and effort. It's clear that Craig Berube likes Nick Robertson. It's also clear that things aren't going his way. If he's playing well, then the puck should eventually start hitting the back of the net for him, or like points or anything, and it's just not happening. Which is why, on top of his incredible performance in net, I think Anthony Stolarz is such an incredible leader on this team for what he did after the game. Because he got the Leafs belt last game because he's great, and after this win, he gave the belt to Nicholas Robertson, which I absolutely love. Why every night are we giving the belt to like some guy who scored, one of 4 guys? Like John Tavares, you could have easily given the belt to him in this one. On top of the 2 goals, he played a spectacular game. What does he need the belt for? You think he needs it? Look at the look on Nick Robertson's face. Look at that smile. This meant the world to him. Craig, I don't think I need to say this, but please don't ruin it by scratching him tomorrow. Hell, Stolarz might have kept him in the lineup with this. What if the Leafs win tomorrow? Has a healthy scratch ever awarded the belt? Nope, you gotta keep him in. Now, by the way, the reason this goal didn't count wasn't because McMahon touched Talbot. The reason this goal didn't count is because it was at 5-on-5. The Leafs get a power play, and guess what? Apparently it's the only way they can score now. What did they do? No, let me think about it. What did they do? Drew, can you bring it? Go to the net! Mitch Marner off the rebound. You could tell that felt good for him too. And the Leafs take the 1-0 lead. Of course, the Leafs aren't the only team that can score on the power play. The Detroit Red Wings quite good at it too. There's usually, when the Leafs get scored on, I'm like, all right, what could they have done better? On this penalty kill, maybe there's something they could have done better. But sometimes you just gotta go, damn, That was a piss missile. Dylan Larkin, probably one of the most underrated offensive players in the NHL. He's so good. In an era where the Red Wings have been so not good, he's been great. Just rips the thing past Stolarz, and oh my goodness, it's still a game. But the Red Wings made a mistake. They took a penalty against notoriously the league's best power play. Am I right, fellas? The Toronto Maple Leafs, who kind of does the exact same thing that Larkin did. Settle it down, go looky what I found, snipe! Listen, I was real hard on John Tavares a couple weeks ago. I don't regret that. He was not playing like this. Tavares playing the way he was, yes, he was coming off of an illness, we know that. Tavares playing like that, though, the Leafs are going to struggle to win games. Tavares playing like this, the Leafs are going to win games without Austin Matthews. Do you see the huge difference? The cap hit completely clouds our judgment when it comes to John Tavares. Like, is he an $11 million player anymore? No. He's still really, really good when he's on. And he was on the scoreboard on this one, 2-1 Leafs. So what's the third period? Do the Leafs get like 2 or 3 more and then the Red Wings claw back and the Leafs just gotta hold them at bay by the skin of their teeth at the end of the game? How many different versions of that exact game that I've described have we seen over the last 3, 4, 5 years? Oh, the Leafs are up 4-1, 5-1. The game ends 5-3, 5-4, 4-3. And you go, they won. Are they going to win games like that in the playoffs? They won tonight, though. The third period is just dastardly low event, except for the Red Wings are banging. The Red Wings are crashing. They're digging in the blue paint, just trying to shove the puck in any way they can. Anthony Stolarz has it in his contract that he has to drop his stick 5 times a game. But he knows that, and he's onto it, and he refused to do it. So his blocker said, I don't care, Anthony, and it came off with the stick in it. It has a mind of its own, that blocker. So Anthony, like a nut, like an absolute nut, reaches his bare hand into an NHL crease with sticks and skates and alligators, and grabs the puck and holds it up for the world to see like an absolute legend. Now, everyone's laughing at the fact that he did that because it's a picture that goes extraordinarily hard. But because of that, I think a lot of people missed easily the funniest part, which is Andrew Kopp temporarily losing his mind and trying to grab the puck out of Anthony Stolar's hand with his own glove. You know when people say, oh, I don't know, my instincts just kicked in. That's instinct. You can't do that, Andrew. Man, that made me laugh. It made Joseph Woll laugh too. God, I love this moment. God, I love this tandem. God, I love this team. John Tavares gets the empty netter. You deserve it. And the Leafs, with a power play that stays hot, win. They do ask how, but they mostly ask how many questions. Ashley asked an excellent question last LFR about, do the Leafs look for Matthews too hard on the power play? Adding to last week's discussion, Ari, the urge to pass when Matthews is on the ice, do the Leafs feel more urgency to keep the puck out when he's not out there to outscore their problems? And she attached a quote. The Leafs have thrived primarily because they've kept the puck out of their net without him being Matthews. In those 57 games, they've surrendered just 2.3 goals per game, winning with 11 shutouts along the way. That is 19.3% of the games that the Leafs have played without Austin Matthews. They've got a shutout. Nearly 1 in 5 non-Matthews games, the Leafs get a shutout. Matthews was nominated for the Selke Trophy as best defensive forward, by the way. I do actually think I know the strategy for the Leafs to win the cup now. I think I figured it out. Play Austin Matthews, but convince the rest of the Leafs that he's not. Get him to shave his mustache, dye his hair blonde, and wear a Pontus Holmberg jersey, and I think the Leafs win the cup in 16 games. Let me put this in terms of Wordle. You ever play Wordle? Your first guess is your first guess. It's just silly. Based on the letters that you got out of your first guess, you make a silly second guess. Why not? By the time your third guess comes around, whether you've gotten some letters or not, you're like, you know what? My number's coming up here. And again, you guess like chunk or some silly word. You don't get it on 4, and you don't get it on 5, and all of a sudden you got one guess left. When the Leafs play without Matthews, they play with one guess left. Oh, okay. If I don't get this, I lose. I better take this seriously. I better think about it. I better not play like an idiot. Ashley might be onto something, man. Like, I think there's an idea that the whole rest of the team, like, I don't think this is an Austin problem. I think it's the whole rest of the team going, oh, daddy's home. Everything's fine. Pressure is off of me individually because of Austin Matthews. He is here and he is going to save the day. Yeah, it turns out you need more than one good player. Teams win championships, and the Leafs they have no choice, literally, but to play like the best cohesive version of themselves without Austin. If they can figure out how to harness the power of 69 goal scoring Austin Matthews and the teamwork that they play with without him, they're a wagon. From Victoria Stewart, how badass is the puck in bare hand move out of 10? 41 out of 10. Jess says, why do you hate me, Steve? I don't hate you. You seem nice. And does having 0 shots on net in the first 17 minutes of the third period seem like a good way to preserve a lead? Here, let me check here. It says here the Leafs won, so apparently yes. Like, okay, the Leafs have done extremely well without Matthews. The Leafs won this game. But winning a game doesn't mean everything was great. I still think this coaching staff, which is super revamped, Berube, Savard, Lambert, this coaching staff is trying to establish a new identity, but they're also trying to beat out a bunch of old bad habits. There's going to be some hiccups. Some of that's going to be on the defensive end, and some of it is going to be the power play being last place in the league after more than a dozen games. Before becoming, like, maybe the hottest power play in the league this week? It's gotta be top 5. What do they have coming into this week? 3 power play goals? This week they've scored 6? Ebbs and flows, baby, as long as you win some of those learning games. Like, geez, every year the Leafs lose, they talk about learning lessons. How about you learn and win at the same time? That sounds pretty good. Do we all agree? How do you feel about it? I didn't ask you, Vince. Everyone boo Vince! Boo! Get those bad habits out of the way, learn the new ones, win some games. You know what? No notes. I'm not going to complain about this win at all. What did you think of this win? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I'll see you again tomorrow when the Leafs take on the Habs on Hockey Night in Canada, Saturday night. And guess what? STPN live stream with yours truly. I'm going to drink some lemon tea.